Furthermore, we pause to thank thee for all the gifts that thou hast bestowed upon us. We ask for peace in the world. We ask that thou would grant healing, peace, and comfort to the sick and the suffering. Shed thy blessings upon all the members of this council, all the members of the audience, those employed by the city, all residents of the city, upon our nation and upon the entire world. We give thee thanks for all of thy benefits. We ask thy help as we continue on. And to thee we give all the glory, honor, and praise to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, both now and ever, and unto ages of ages. Amen.
Now join me in the pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mic back on. Can hear. Welcome. We have two presentations this evening, and I'm going to come down here in front for those. The first, National Historic Preservation Month. So if I can have members come forward, we will do that pronto. Thank you.
Face the camera, please.
Whereas historic preservation endeavors to protect, conserve, and preserve buildings, places, and other artifacts of historical significance for the benefit of present and future generations. And whereas historic preservation is an effective tool for maintaining growth and sustainable development, revitalizing neighborhoods, fostering local pride, maintaining community character while enhancing livability. Whereas historic preservation is relevant for communities across the nation, both urban and rural, and for Americans of all ages, all walks of life, all ethnic backgrounds. And whereas it is important to celebrate the role of history in our lives and the contributions made by dedicated individuals in helping to preserve tangible aspects of the heritage that has shaped us as a people. Whereas 2019 marks the 53rd anniversary of the National Historic Preservation Act, which established the legal framework and incentives for the documentation and preservation of historic buildings, places, and other artifacts. And whereas the City of Cape Girardeau wishes to recognize the importance of historic preservation at the local, state, and federal levels, support historic preservation efforts in the community. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Bob Fox, Mayor of the City of Cape Girardeau, Missouri, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2019 as National Historic Preservation Month. Call upon the citizens of Cape Girardeau to join communities across the United States, recognizing and participating in this special event. Thank you for all you do.
Can I invite people to something real fast?
Yes.
Yes, all right. So the commission is going to host a talk Friday, May 24th at 5:30. We're going to meet at the corner of Frederick and Broadway and walk all the way to the Alumni Center. Dr. Hoffman and Marlo Mills are going to talk about the commercial history of that area and the future to come in Cape Girardeau. So you should join us.
All right.
Thank
Thank you. And now our beautiful property of the month, First Presbyterian Church. And boy, do we have a crowd here tonight. Reverend Ellen's going to come up. Anybody else?
Yeah,
Oh, come
come on up.
Come all the way here. You might as well come get your picture taken, right?
Sure.
I don't know, I'm gonna let Reverend tell us a little bit about Peace Park, but if you've not driven down Broadway and it's behind the church down towards Spanish, really beautiful. The sculptures, the shelter, all of the landscaping has been done. It's a place where you come and sit, read a book, meditate, whatever they want to do. But it's a beautiful, beautiful place and has a lot to do. So thank you.
Well, it is a joy and a privilege for us to be able to offer this Peace Park to the city of Cape Girardeau. We had kind of a windfall from investments a couple of years ago, and that green space needed a little more, something to make it more inviting. And so the theme is, it is a peace park. The benches and the sculptures done by a female professor and student, everything fell into place at the right time. Just last week, it was all finished, and we want it to be a welcoming, inclusive, meditative place to be.
Well, at about the same time, I would hope pretty soon that the Expo, Common Police Courthouse in Harbor Square is going to be completed. That too will add to the whole area. So, great. All right, thank you all very much.
Would you all face this way for me 1 second? Just take a few steps back towards that back step. Watch your step. Thank you very much. Big smiles, everyone.
We have to. Oh, you got
And a little,
you got notes.
well, just
On the air show. How's that going? Being on the airport board.
enjoy it.
Yeah, I really wish I could have stayed on. Work on my schedule.
Yeah.
I want that beautiful business. You're like to.
Sometimes I wish I had time to go sit down there and relax and read a book. Maybe it'd quit raining long enough, we could do some of that pretty soon. Communications and reports. Council, anybody?
Yes,
Yes.
the air show.
The air
The
show.
air show is coming. In
Yes.
case you haven't heard, big air show featuring the Blue Angels. It's just gonna be awesome. May 18th and 19th, Saturday and Sunday. So it's the same show both days. The show pretty much runs from 11:30 to 3:30. Gates are open way before that. And everything you need to know is at CapeGirardeauAirFestival.com. So I will not spend any time but there's schedule there. Parking is a big issue for this air show, mostly going to be off-site. So go to that website and figure out the parking stuff. There's ticket information and ticket purchasing on the website. And I think it's cheaper if you buy tickets online rather than at the door. I think they're maybe $5 more at the day of. And also, I think I heard the premium tickets are only available up to a week before the show. So if you're interested in that, you really need to purchase your tickets beforehand. And just one last thing, they are urging people to consider attending on Sunday rather than Saturday, because already they are expecting a very, very large crowd on Saturday. Oh, there's Bruce. Am I putting in the right plug for you? Okay, all right. Well, you've probably got a lot more things you'd like to, I mean, jump on up if you need to, but that's, I felt like I just needed to get those few things out, but Sunday.
That's good, yeah. Actually, premium seating on Saturday is almost full out.
Oh, okay.
There are 80 seats left.
So go to the website tonight if you want any premium, premium seating. Okay. Well, the website's great. There's a lot of information there and the show's going to be awesome. So it's going to be a great time.
Anybody else?
I just want to say a quick shout out to city staff. In the Red Star neighborhood, we've been dealing with a lot of floodwater lately. And as soon as it started to recede and the city had pretty much gotten everything cleaned up, now it's all just flooded back up again. So just wanted to thank, the Public Works staff for taking as great a care of anything related to this flooding that we've got, cleaning the streets, maintaining the flood wall in downtown. It's just shows you how important it is to this city to have those facilities. On Sunday, driving through downtown, there were thousands of people at the Riverfront Flea Market, Tailgate Flea Market, and you just realize how necessary that flood wall maintenance is to this community. It's huge.
Well, the farmer's market was Saturday.
Yeah, farmers market was Saturday, and just driving through this town, you just see so much life, and you realize that we are a river town. Whenever the water goes up, we've got to deal with it, and we've been dealing with it for well over a solid month. So I just can't thank the Public Works Department enough for putting forth all that time and energy to do that.
Mayor, we had our magnet board meeting. And as many of you saw in the paper today, the Kmart building is going to be repurposed into 2/3 of it being used by Orsolin and 1/3 by Bargain Hunt, which will be the first bargain hunt in Missouri, I believe. That's just an example of something that John Maynor and Magnet have been working on Orsolin moving for about 5 years now, if not longer. So sometimes you see how long it takes to be able to get those things to move, and we're glad to be able to get somebody in that high traffic area as well. Another thing, and Dan had mentioned this to me, and I thought I would mention it. We had talked at the council retreat about medical marijuana and staying in front of that. We did discuss at the Magnet meeting that applications are most likely to be accepted and approved out by probably December. So they're going to be kind of behind a little bit. So we've got a little bit of time. With that being said, there is interest in Cape Girardeau County and the surrounding counties. So we do need to make sure that we're going to be out in front of that from a regulatory standpoint. So other than that, I just want to tell staff formally thank you with the Broadway signs. I've gotten a lot of comments, some of them bad, some of them good. But for the people that have stores along there, they've seen people slow down. They've seen people yield to pedestrians, and they've been extremely happy about that. So wanted to pass that along.
I just want to just kind of take off of that for a second, especially about the medical marijuana, and then also the industrial hemp industry. So there's two different things. One is for medicinal use, and the other is for products. It's a I don't even know how you'd call it, but they make it into rope and clothes and all kinds of stuff. But those are jobs that I personally feel very adamantly that I want here in Cape. And I want to make sure that we stay at the forefront of this and we get ahead of it. If it's coming down the pike in 6 months, let's not wait for 5.5 to take action. And so if we can take action now to make sure that Cape is on the forefront and we get those jobs in our community, that'd be huge.
Mayor and Council, just as an update, I believe staff intends on taking that to the Planning and Zoning Commission in May for some preliminary discussions on where that would be most appropriate, what zoning districts and the spacing requirements and whatnot.
Awesome.
Anything else? Talking about the flooding, Dan and the rest of you, I had a conference call this morning with MRCTI, which is the Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative, for about an hour with most of the mayors in cities along the Mississippi, with FEMA, with the National Weather Service, with emergency services personnel from around different states, from various people from senators and reps offices on the federal level. And they talked about the impact it's had so far up and down the river. I don't know if you're aware, Davenport, Iowa, and Rock Island, Illinois had levels that surpassed 1993, and you remember what that was like here. Davenport, and I was there a year ago at a meeting at a newly renovated hotel downtown, which now has 3 feet of water in it. Davenport is a large city, one of the quad cities up there that they've always kind of refused having a wall because they like looking at that, the downtown area is right on the river. And they have a little levee, and they've been able to survive pretty much until this year when it went over that levee and went into the downtown. So they're actually thinking about a wall now. After all that and reinvestment in their downtown area, it was really a tragedy. But there was a lot of discussion about the National Weather Service, was actually upfront about the potential rains that are going to happen the rest of this month up through the plains, and which will affect us through Missouri. More rain down south, and we're going to crest here Wednesday, I think, at almost 45. Well, they've downgraded that a little bit. It depends on how much it rains the next 2 or 3 days. But yeah, kudos to city staff because they man that pump station and look at that wall and inspect it all the time. And it's a lot of extra work and stuff that they can't be doing every place else. But it's got to be maintained and it's got to be watched. So, God bless the people along the river that have had all these issues and are still going to have more issues as it passes us and goes down south. But keep them in your prayers. We had the ribbon cutting last week for Dune Optimus Wheel Park, and it was odd. I was out of town the weekend before, and I saw some photographs of the baseball fields out right by the wheel park, just on the other side of Arena Park, and saw the water out there that was there after the rain on Thursday. And city staff pumped and pumped and pumped water off those fields. And by Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, they were ready for an 87-team softball tournament. That just shows you what our staff does to go above and beyond to get things done and to keep things planned as they were. Tomorrow, after lunch, I get to go to the arena building and kick off light the torch to kick off the torch run for the Show Me Games, which started in 1985, and I think they had 700 participants. And I think this year there'll be almost 40,000. It's the largest event like that in the United States. They have 40 plus sports, plus I don't know how many tournaments they have for other sports. But it's all part of a governor's physical fitness initiative that was started in 1985, and it's progressed to where now Missouri has the largest one in the state, in the United States. So that's a big deal. This week, Thursday, concludes our Citizens Academy. We have the graduation and a mock city council meeting. And that's been a big success. And I want to thank each of the council members for their participation and help in that and being there with some of the meetings. And if you can't be there, they've at least had a film and welcome the people. But I've got a lot of compliments on that. And the people are that have been through not only the last one, but this one are now serving on advisory boards and committees and getting involved in your city. So that's been a big plus. Can't think of much else. We talked about the air show. I will say on the Friday night before the air show, instead of tunes at twilight, it's going to be blues at twilight. And I think some of the pilots will be there that evening. And it's going to be kind of a neat get together. Let's hope it doesn't rain. We've had so much rain lately, it's hard to tell. Can't think of anything else. Put June 8th on your calendars. That's the day that the Ivor statue will be unveiled and will be dedicated at Ivor Square. I think that's at 11 that day.
I just wanted to add one more thing before you conclude this segment, so continue.
No, I'm finished.
You know, Cape Girardeau prides itself on having a lot of great events, and we have incredible events in this city, and the Parks Department and the Public Works clean up for them incredibly well, and it really just shows you what a great experience living in the city is. I just wanted to congratulate Cape Pride for putting on the first ever Pride Festival in the city of Cape. I think they had over 1,000 people that attended. That's an incredible number. It's great to have that event as an opportunity here in the city of Cape. And so I just wanted to say that before we concluded this segment of the meeting.
Okay. Anybody else? If not, we will move right into item for discussion. And the first is the Emergency Solutions Grant presentation. Mr. Williams.
We thank you for giving us an opportunity to appear before you just once a year. And the success of your program is the fine sub-grantees that are going to make presentations to you. Last year, we received a grant funding of $139,074.41. A couple of weeks ago, while we were having our program monitored, we had the lady that came down from MHDC. We were offered an additional $7,100 to add to the funding that we had. The only stipulation was it had to be spent by May 31st. So we were able to take $3,500 of that, and the Community Caring Council, they're the ones that took that for rapid rehousing. So our total for last year will be $142,574.41. Now, this is a 100% match. So going into the 2018 program in Cape Girardeau County will be $285,148.82. This year, we have received from MHDC our new grant, the Street Outreach, which is Salvation Army. They received $7,000. The Emergency Shelter, which is the Safe House for Women, they received $40,757.20, which is an additional $5,282.79 over what we received last year. The homeless prevention is the Catholic Charities of Southern Missouri. They received $46,400. The Rapid Rehousing, which is the Community Caring Council, they received $46,400. And we got administration of $3,800. Each one of the sub-grantees is 100% matched. So they will match the funding that they have. The administration is 100% match. The city is providing $1,900. The county commission is providing $1,900 divided by 2, and the city of Jackson is the other one that's providing their funding. So for this year, we will have a total of $144,357.20. And when we do the 100% match, we will be putting into the county for the homeless program $288,714.40. The sub-grantees will introduce themselves, and they will tell you their success and what they're going to do in the future. Starting with the Salvation Army, the Safe House, Community Caring, Catholic Charities, and Community Caring.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Hello, I'm Lieutenant Matt. I'm with the Salvation Army. Our part of the ESG is outreach, which means we are kind of the first touch for the homeless population in Cape Girardeau. Most of what we do with our ESG funds is help folks find permanent housing with family or friends across the country. So generally what it is folks come into our building and say, I have my brother across Missouri and Kansas City is wanting to put me up for the rest of my life. He's going to keep me, help me become unhomeless. So we put him on a bus. We provide a bus ticket for him to go to Kansas City. That's generally how our program works. We've also rewritten part of our grant so that as we run across these people as they come to our services or we meet them, we're able to put them up in hotels for a couple of nights if we can't get them to the bus station, because unfortunately we no longer have a Greyhound station that is close to us. It's much more difficult for us to get our homeless population onto a bus with this grant. So we've had to kind of rework it so that we can call ahead, get a ride for them scheduled. People know 24 hours ahead of time where they're going to be going. And in that time, they're not just sleeping on the street another night. We can put them up in a motel or a hotel and then put them on a cab or on a car and get them to the bus station as quickly as possible. It's a great program. We enjoy being able to help folks find permanent housing instead of just trying to give them a bag of food and send them on their way. We know we're sending them somewhere where they're not going to be on the streets anymore. We're not just relocating them to another city, which is good. We have to call and confirm with the people that they say they're going to stay with, that they're able to stay with them there. So it's not just homeless relocation. We are actually sending them somewhere to be housed. So that's the Salvation Army's main part of the grant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kim Dixon, and I'm the shelter director for the Safe House for Women. And last year, we spent $35,474.41. With that money, we were able to purchase appliances for our new shelter that we're currently building, also provide maintenance, utilities to keep our current shelter running in the meantime. We saw an increase of hotel placements for domestic violence victims over the last year, so a lot of our money went to provide that service to those victims in our community. And a lot of that is due to males being over, or 13-year-old boys not being able to reside in our current shelter, and then our shelter just remaining at capacity. So I'll let Jessica talk about our next year.
Hello, I'm Jessica Hill. I'm the executive director of the Safe House for Women. And as Steve mentioned, for this year, we're getting a little over $40,000, which is a $5,000 increase for us after pretty stable funding over the last 5 years. So we're very excited about that. And it comes at just the right time because in June, we are moving into our new larger handicapped accessible facility. We are moving from 17 beds to 40. So our capacity is going to increase exponentially. We're very excited about the number of people we're going to be able to serve. Last year, we housed about 150 adults and children. So we're excited to come back next year and let you know how many we served with our new facility. The ESG grant makes the operation of our shelter possible because we do provide funding for the very basics of electricity, gas, water, security system, phone system, hotline, all those kinds of things are paid for out of this grant. So it's really one of the lifeblood programs of our agency. So as Kim mentioned, we'll be able to provide for maintenance of our shelter. This grant also has helped us for many years to maintain our current shelter, which we are planning to put on the market once we occupy the new one. And we've been told by our realtors that this facility, even though it's over 100 years old, is excellently maintained. And again, that's a result of this grant, that we've been able to invest so much into it and hopefully be able to recoup some of that and put that towards the cost of our new shelter construction. So we appreciate the support of the city very much, and this grant really does amazing things for our clients that we serve. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Angela Webb. I am the housing supervisor with Catholic Charities Southern Missouri. This is Regina Moore. She's one of our case managers here in Cape Girardeau County. The ESG grant allows us to provide services to those who are in need of assistance and help find affordable and sustained housing. We work with those clients beyond just providing rental assistance or utility assistance, and also making sure that they can sustain themselves later on. So we work with them on getting SNAP applications, helping them find employment, learning how to budget the money that they do have that comes in for them, so that once we back out of the situation, they're able to sustain themselves productively in the community. Last year, we were able to serve 10 households, in Cape Girardeau County, and this year we are currently serving 14 households with more to come.
Thank you.
Good evening, Melissa Stickle with Community Partnership of Southeast Missouri, formerly Community Caring Council. And we have the rapid rehousing portion of this project, and that serves individuals who are literally homeless, meeting that HUD definition. So they are sleeping in places not meant for human habitation, and we are trying to rapidly house them. I think you've heard several times tonight about the importance of actual stable and long-term housing, and that's the goal of rapid rehousing. We served in fiscal year 2018, 14 households. Most of those are single adults, but some of those are children. And again, it is an important piece of the continuum alongside all of the partners that you heard today, and we really appreciate the support of that project.
I am Arlene Schoen. I'm also part of Community Partnership of Southeast Missouri, formerly Community Caring Council, and I'm a housing case manager, and I also do the rapid rehousing.
That is the reason why you have a successful program. Do you have any questions for us?
Any questions? Nope. I don't think so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for the great work you do. Is there anybody here this evening to appear before the council for any item that is not on the agenda? Any item that's not on the agenda? If not, we will move into the agenda review. Ms. Molly?
Thank you, Mayor. This evening, we do have two public hearings. The first is a public hearing for rezoning at Hopper and Mount Auburn Road. This is a rezoning from R1 to C1. And item number 10 is the corresponding ordinance for that rezoning request. We also have a public hearing to discuss an application to be submitted for the Community Development Block Grant Program on behalf of Community Partnership, formerly Community Caring Council, for the purchase and renovation of our former police station at 40 South Sprague. On the consent agenda, we have several of our second and third readings from the previous meeting. Item number 4 is the adoption of increase at Cape Splash. Item number 5 is the second and third for the record plat of Williamsburg Phase 4. Item 6 is the second and third reading of appropriating funds from PRS for repairs and maintenance at Cape Splash. And item number 7 is the second and third reading of calling for the capital improvement tax renewal election this coming August 6th. Item 8 is a resolution for our asphalt overlay program for 2019 that will be awarded to Apex Paving. And number 9 is the acceptance of public improvements for Williamsburg Phase 4. Are there any items that you'd like removed from the consent agenda? If not, we'll move into new ordinances. Again, number 10 is the ordinance for the rezoning of the property at Hopper Road in Mount Auburn. Then we have several record plats. Item number 11 is a lot combination. Same with item number 12, that's another lot combination. And then item number 3 is for the record plat of the estates at Hopper. This is on the north side of Hopper Road, right behind Ford & Sons, and that is for 2 new lots there. Item number 14 is approving the record plat for a right-of-way dedication. This is for the extension of Walnut Street. There's already kind of a little gravel road there. This is actual dedication of right-of-way to serve that property. Item number 15 is authorizing the execution of a special warranty deed to Rhodes Property. This is for the sale of excess right-of-way along Southern Expressway. This is one that I wanted to bring to your attention. The sales price of this property is based on the previous sale of similar excess right-of-way in the same location. The cost of that is based on the cost per square foot that we used previously. This is one that we hadn't brought to council previously. So if you have any questions or concerns regarding this, we can pull it from the agenda. If you're comfortable, then we can go ahead and proceed with the ordinance this evening. So that, be leaving that up to you. And then lastly, we have item 16, which is an ordinance amending chapter 26 of the Code of Ordinances. This is related to court fines. The Supreme Court of Missouri ruled last year to change the court fine structure. They released what that structure will be just May 1st when those fines become effective. So we do need to do this as an emergency reading with the first, second, and third reading of the ordinance. Are there any questions on any of the new ordinances this evening?
Any questions on anything on 15 or 16 at all?
No?
Might when we come to it, but
Okay. We can do that.
And we have no appointments, and we will have the need for a closed session later.
Okay. Yes, we have to have a closed session. That concludes the study session. I'll now move into regular session, and we'll have the call to order, please.
Ryan Essex.
Here.
Bob Boggs.
Here.
Robbie Garden.
Here.
Victor Gunn.
Here.
Stacy Kinder.
Here.
Shelley Moore.
Here.
Dan Presson.
Here.
Everybody accounted for. We have two public hearings this evening. The first is to consider a request to rezone property. We do have to adopt the agenda. You're right.
Make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Second. Motion made to adopt the agenda. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. What were you saying, Mayor?
What was I saying? We have two public hearings this evening. First is a request to rezone property at 3269 Hopper Road from R1 Single Family Residential District to C1 General Commercial District. And that is item 10, bill number 19-67. Is anybody here this evening to appear before the council on behalf of this public hearing? Yes.
I'm Beth McFerrin. I live at 1622 Good Hope in Cape, and I'm here representing the Armbruster family. We have one of the members here. We're wanting it passed. So, getting
Okay.
questions.
Anybody have any questions? It's a good use of property that's pretty close to a commercial district, and you've got an office going in right across the street, a funeral home caddy corner.
This is going to be another dentist.
I know. Yep. Anything else? Anybody else to appear before the council for this public hearing about a rezoning? If not, we'll close this public hearing, and we have another public hearing. This public hearing is to discuss an application to be submitted for the fiscal year 2019 Community Development Block Grant Program on behalf of the Community Caring Council for funding to purchase and renovate a building located at 40 South Sprigg Street that will be utilized as a Community Caring Council Support Services Center. This is the old police station. I think everybody knows that. Anybody here this evening to talk to us or appear before the council about this grant?
Thank you for taking time to let us talk. I'm Margaret Yates with Regional Planning in Perryville, and we are working with a good person and good community, and for a really good cause. This public hearing is part of the application process. It's for the city to be the grantee on behalf of the Community Caring Council, and that's part of the application process. Why don't you tell them what you're doing and what you're going to use the money for?
Yeah. So thank you. So what we're seeking to do is to renovate the former police station, which we are in the process of acquiring right now. And the main foundation of what that's going to provide for us is the ability to increase the services that we provide to the low-income community and families in Cape Girardeau. we're really seeking to enhance what we already do, not necessarily provide significant new services, but just in a more efficient and more effective manner. If anybody's familiar with where our office space is now, it's on 3 different floors, and it's highly inaccessible to a lot of people. And we're really trying to create a better space for all of the clients that we serve. We serve a little over 10,000 people a year. And this renovation of this police station will allow us to do several things, all in the name of increasing self-sufficiency and helping families thrive and produce a better community overall. So that's what we're hoping to do. This grant will allow us part of the dollars in order to do that. It's about $1 million project, so this is about half of the cost of the renovation. The rest of that portion of that will be in kind and dollars matched from our agency, as well as seeking donations from the community for that. Do you have any questions?
How long does this process of the grant, how long do you?
So the grant's due at the end of this month, May 31st, and the award date, I think, is July 1. Yeah. So the award date's July 1. We'll know, obviously, by then if we're awarded and be able to move forward.
How competitive?
It is very competitive. However, when talking to the state, this particular project, because we do serve a limited clientele of not just low income, but also homeless individuals, the state has actually not done a community development block grant for this purpose in the state of Missouri. They're really excited about doing it because it is an actual HUD grant, and it's housing and urban development. So instead of just doing a typical community facility such as a rec center or things like that, or a police department or a fire department, like this being such a new thing for them, they're really excited about doing it. We went and spent time with them, asked questions. I'm pretty optimistic about it. They also have additional dollars this year that they don't typically have allocated to community facilities. So I think our chances are higher this year than it would be any other year.
Melissa, what's the time frame for your organization on the match funds? Do those have to be like secured and committed before they start dispersing funds?
No, we do have to demonstrate in our application that we have the means to be able to provide that. So we're working with a local bank that says that we will take out the other portion that we need as a loan, and then work to get donations to pay that loan off. So ultimately, we still have to demonstrate that we could do it without any other contingencies. So that's our way of doing that. And then we'll get donations to pay back that loan as we go.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Any other questions?
Thank you. I appreciate your support.
Thank you, Melissa.
Very much. Thank you.
Anybody else to appear before the council for this public hearing? If not, we'll close the public hearing. Are there any individuals here this evening to appear before the council for an item that is listed on the agenda? I don't think so. If that's the case, we will move on to the consent agenda. Eric?
Bill number 19-55, an ordinance approving and adopting fee increases for Parks and Recreation Department services at the Cape Splash Family Aquatic Center in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. An ordinance approving and adopting fee increases for Parks and Recreation Department services at the Cape Splash Family Aquatic Center in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Number 19-61, an ordinance approving the Recoplat of Williamsburg Phase 4, an ordinance approving the Recoplat of Williamsburg Phase 4. Bill number 19-62, an ordinance appropriating funds from the Parks and Recreation Fund for expenditures related to repairs and maintenance at the Cape Splash Family Aquatic Center in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. An ordinance appropriating funds from the Parks and Recreation Fund for expenditures related to repairs and maintenance at the Cape Splash Family Aquatic Center in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Number 19-64, an ordinance calling an election in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri on the question whether the city shall extend the existing sales tax of 1/4 of 1% for the purpose of providing capital improvements, designating the time of holding the election, authorizing and directing city clerk to give notice of the election. An ordinance calling an election in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri on the question whether the city shall extend the existing sales tax of 1/4 of 1% for the purpose of funding capital improvements, designate the time of holding the election, authorizing and directing the city clerk to give notice of the election. Number 19-71, a resolution authorizing city manager to execute an agreement with Apex Paving Company for the 2019 asphalt overlay program in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
You have before you the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
Mayor, mark my vote for number 5 and number 9 as abstention due to financial conflict of interest.
Did you get that, Bruce? Okay. I might add that the asphalt overlay program, if people were not aware, was for about $695,000 this year for the asphalt overlay program, which is it's a big deal. Anybody else? Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. New ordinances. Bill number 19-67, an ordinance amending Chapter 30 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Cape Girardeau, Missouri by changing the zoning of property at 3269 Hopper Road in the City and County of Cape Girardeau, Missouri from R1 to C1.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Guard, second by Mr. Preston. Any discussion?
Just a question, Molly, that whole intersection road is designated plan as being a mixed use or commercial.
Correct. The general plan, I believe, identifies it as mixed use, which would include the commercial uses. So
On
it's,
all corners
yeah.
of that.
Right. Anything else? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 19-68, an ordinance approving the record plat of 1704 David subdivision.
So moved.
Motion by Dan. Second by Stacy. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 19-69, an ordinance approving the record plat of C&T Sibe subdivision.
So moved.
Motion by Ryan, second by Shelley. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 19-72, an ordinance approving the record plat of the estates at Hopper Crossing.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Guard, second by Ryan. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 19-70, ordinance approving the plat of right-of-way dedication for an extension of Walnut Street.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Robbie. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 19-73, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a special warranty deed for Rhodes Properties LLC for property along Southern Expressway right-of-way in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Motion by Dan, second. Second by Stacy. Any discussion?
Mayor, please mark my vote an abstention due to financial conflict of interest.
Okay.
How
Anything?
long ago was so this was carried back to a previous sale? How long ago was that sale?
I don't have that information.
It's been a few years, but it's basically a piece of property that's just along the road and the right of way, and it's not, we have to maintain it.
Yeah.
And it's not really doing us any good. I think this was mentioned at one time, but it had not gone any further, and now it has. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 19-74, an ordinance amending Chapter 26 of the Code of Ordinances in the City of Cape Girardeau. An ordinance amending Chapter 26 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Cape Girardeau. and ordinance amending Chapter 26 of the Code of Ordinances in the City of Cape Girardeau.
So moved.
Motion by Robbie, seconded by Dan. Any discussion?
Eric, do you want to attempt to explain what the
I knew that was coming.
There's a whole list of them. It's a long list of.
The Missouri Supreme Court has adopted a fine schedule. And those fines are for court offenses that do not require a court appearance. Now, most of our offenses in our city code provide the municipal judge a range of authority for the penalties that the judge would assess. There are only about 3 that we did not have a range of authority. Those had specific fines, and those are the subject of this particular ordinance. We had to change those because the specific fines we have in our code are different than the fines that are set out in the Supreme Court order. And that Supreme Court order is effective May the 1st. We got it on May the 1st. And so because of that, this needs to be done as an emergency ordinance to make it as effective as it could be as soon as we could.
So, and Eric, just to clarify, we're talking about parking fines and things like that.
That's all these are.
Things that you might receive a citation for, but you're not going to have a court appearance. You pay the fine.
In fact, interestingly enough, with all of the Supreme Court's attention in these, this actually raises those fines.
When I looked at the schedule, fine schedule, and it had the fine plus court costs, so do they have to pay both, or is it just, since they don't have to appear, they just?
Yes, they do have to pay the fine and the court costs. Our prior system, the one that was in effect just prior to this, we provided the opportunity for people to avoid court costs if they would pay quickly. And that has been a good system. Apparently our system was not one that was used widely around the state. So what they did was decide that this was a good standard parking fine, and court costs came with it. For the city of Cape Girardeau, that ends up increasing people's parking fines.
So did they set court costs standard across the board, or did they use some formula to determine costs?
Well, there are certain court costs that are provided by statute as the ones that cities can adopt, and we have adopted those. So it's comparatively standard, yes, Ryan.
We've got to do it to comply with the law, so that's why the first, second, and third readings. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Appointments. I do want to bring to your attention, and I'm sorry, I may have sent this information out, I may not have, but I want to announce them anyway. And this TTF6 committee will be approved at the next council meeting on the 20th. The chair of that committee is Harry Rediger. There are 4 members of Planning and Zoning on the committee. It's actually kind of a subcommittee of Planning and Zoning, but those are Jeff Glenn, Kevin Greaser, Doug Spooler, and Bruce Skinner. And there are 3 community members who have volunteered to serve on this committee to represent different areas in the community. John Voss, who has been there before, Trey Bertrand, who having been on the P&Z for a number of years has a lot of experience, and Tamara Zellers-Buck. So those will be the committee that will be presented at the next meeting for council approval. We could do this as a ad hoc committee, but I thought it was better that the council approve it. And we do it in open session so people see who they are. And the TTF6 committee will be off and running probably around the 1st of June. Okay. Any other business? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session to discuss legal actions and litigation, confidential communication with legal counsel pursuant to revised section Missouri section 610-0211. Motion by Stacy and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all for being here this evening.
I need to bend your ear.